Welcome back. Let's talk to Mr. Dan Baturi Abdul. He's the president of Arewa Youth, joining us from our Abuja studio. Mr. Abdul, thank you for coming on the program.
Thanks for having me.
Whilst we celebrate and are excited about the release or the rescue of the Oriri children and their teachers, as well as commiserate with the families of those who have lost their lives, we have not lost sight of the fact that there are several persons in the north, especially Borno in this instance, who are still in the abductors' den. And we are also hoping we'll get this news that like we got in Oriri. And my question is, when we look at some of the things our nation is concerned about, poverty, out-of-school children, insecurity, for instance, the north bears perhaps the highest burden if you look at the data that is available. So the first question we always ask is, how do people live in those parts of the north? But my question to you will be, when it comes to this issue of persistent, unabating insecurity, it goes up and down. Do you think from somebody who is from that region, the region is angry enough to say, this has to stop?
Yes.
Your response, please.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for having me. You see, if really we want to solve the issue of insecurity in northern Nigerians, we must have to look at the major factors that has been affecting our people, most especially at the local level. You see, the high level of unemployment, you see the high level of uneducated people across the region is one of the major factors that has been affecting our people, and our leaders, most especially our political gladiators, have neglected such factors that have been affecting our people. And like you said earlier, we must have to appreciate our security agencies, most especially the military, the DSS, and the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But at more, we want to call his attention as a father that our people in the north are still with the terrorists. Not only in Borno State, we have some other states like Katsina and Zamfara. Some of our people are still in captivity with the bandit. So you see, Mr. President need to do more over this, because what mostly that is happening in northern Nigeria and the people don't know is that the president needs to change his approach on the way of communicating or tackling the issue of insecurity. Because if really the president will be communicating or try to tackle the insecurity through politicians, through our government, our governors, the president will find it more difficult. So I think the best approach President Bola Ahmed Tinubu needs to do is that he should communicate through the masses. He should communicate through the youth directly, not through the governors. Because you see, politicians will always be politicians. They will always try to politicize the issue of insecurity. And we don't want the mistake of President Goodluck Jonathan should also happen to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because we all know the effort of the president, even when he was the governor of Lagos State. We have seen whereby he tried to always come across the north, come in supporting the northern Nigeria, even when he was the governors. When you check on his cabinet, when he was the governor of Lagos State, you saw people like Honorable James Faleke, the convener of TSG, which is from Kogi State, a core northerner. But President Bola Ahmed Tinubu bringing on board and some other northerners and his cabinet. So, and again, he supported Atiku. Then he later now come and support New Ribado for a president, and he supported Buhari. You see, president have put in his effort, but we should not. That is we, our people. Most of the leaders who don't have the interest of Nigerians at heart. We should not play politics with what is happening. That was the reason why we, the youth leaders, want to call the attention of the president. A lot has been going on. Our people has been battling with issue of unemployment, issue of poverty, issue of insecurity. So he need to do more. We have led with nothing as it is in the north. If not the effort of the media, the little contribution of you people, the media had been coming for a rescue, we have been led with nothing in northern Nigeria. And we the youth, we are trying to put our effort to make sure that we have a better platform, we have a peaceful playground for us to establish what we have. Because when you're trying to see a loyal and a correct citizens in this country, it's only in the north that you find such citizens. When you look at this youth that are trying to support democracy as it is now in Nigeria, it's only the northern Nigerian youth that are trying to do that. In the previous election, you see what happened. So we dominated every region by contributed in voting Mr. President. But what happened at the end of the day? Our leaders sold us and leave us by the roadside. We have been dying every day by day. If not for intervention of some of the security, some of the agencies and the security agencies that are coming to rescue, we will have been in another condition by now. Thank God for the intervention of Rural Electrification Agency. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we have to squeeze in as many questions as possible as time will allow us on this conversation. But somehow I take exception to the fact that the little contributions of the media, I take exception to that statement, because we try to do our job and highlight exactly what the challenges are. Personally, I've been to Borno State before. I've been at the IDP camp in Burma and about 2 others in the city center. So we try to do our best. But
that's good.
Let me squeeze in as many other questions as we can, because when you say you don't want what happened to President Goodluck Jonathan to happen to President Bola Tinubu, I'd like you to perhaps clarify what exactly you mean by that. And then I'll also ask you, do you think that the North was safer under President Muhammadu Buhari, who was, of course, a military general? Was the North safer under his regime? And then my final question would just be, what's your reaction to the APC fielding yet again a Muslim ticket?
Okay, thank you. Let me start with the issue of Jonathan. You know, as it is today, with our understanding in politics and population, the northern Nigerian decide who will be the president of Nigeria in every election, because we are the only region who so much believe in the unity of this country, and we always contribute in the issue of democracy. So, you know, insecurity was used. Insecurity was used against Goodluck Jonathan, and we don't want. The reason why we say we don't want that to happen to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you see, it's election period now. You see how the issue of school children kidnapping and some other things has been everywhere. Why is it so? It's because of 2027 general election. So we don't want that to happen with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because we have a strong agreement with the South that after the South, the North will take over. So we want to make sure we maintain that agreement by supporting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu 110% on that. Then after that, we bring a competent youth who has the interest of not only northern Nigerian, who has the interest of Nigerian at heart, to take over President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Because as it is today, there is no any competent candidate from the south that we the northern Nigerians, with so much belief and agree on, like President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So those that are trying to play politics with insecurity, we the youth, we are wise as it is today. The northern Nigerian youth would not allow such a kind of political gladiators to be playing with insecurity for them just because of their selfish interest. We will not agree with that. Then issue of when you ask issue of Muslim, you see, I'm not here to talk about politics, but you know, I can't run away from it. You see, in northern Nigeria, we the northern Nigerian dude, everybody has his own interest, and everybody is free. There's no compulsory that you must surely come out and vote Tinubu. No, we have other political platforms that everybody can go and vote for. But when you talk of issue of Muslim ticket, this is not the problem of Nigeria. Religion is not our problem. As I'm talking to you, the bandits are killing people in the north. The north are 99% Muslims. Who are them? Who are the victims? Majority of the victims are the Muslims and the Christians. So the enemies of Nigerians are going after both Christians and Nigerians. So we should look at the enemies. We should go after our enemies instead of going after our religions. No, our religions should not be our difference. In this case, I don't think there's any problem with the issue of Muslim ticket. Moreover, it did not happen. It did not start today. If you look at during when General Yakubu Gowon was the president of this country, who is his second in command, who give the other directive. If you look at when late President Abiola was the candidate of when he was elected as the president. Yeah. Who was his running mate? He's still Muslim. If you look at when we voted that same Buhari and Tinubu in 2023, it's still Muslim. But that should not be our problem. Our focus should be the enemies of Nigeria. Yeah. Our focus should be our bad leaders. But the problem we have today is our governors in the north. Yeah. And which religion are they? Majority of our governors in the north are Muslims. So it's high time for us to keep religions aside and focus on the interests of Nigeria and the north at large.
Yeah, so Mr. Dambature, you know, your commentary this morning appears a mixed bag, and some would appreciate your point about how religion is not necessarily Nigeria's problem and the pattern of killings in the north. But on some other points, in your commentary, your submissions may just be seen as divisive when you say the north is the major decider in the power block determination in this country, and when you say that perhaps there's no other competent candidate from the south other than President Bola Tinubu, some would frown on that and look at other candidates who have thrown their hat in the ring and who are not just first-time runners in the presidency race. And another point that could be used to counter your submission would be that the north cannot successfully prosecute an election in the country without partnership across the Niger. But let's look at another important point that you have made this morning, and that is the fact that the president should not leave security to the politicians. Perhaps you should be more forthright about who the politicians are. Are the politicians governors? And I'd like to draw the Operation Safe Corridor program, for which reportedly Borno State is very involved in, with its own intervention seen in commentaries like, taking repentant terrorists away from Giwa Barracks and Joint Investigation Center and helping them to reunite with the families, which some say, poses a threat to the counterinsurgency operations provided directly by the armed forces. As a matter of fact, there are reports that some soldiers would not like to fight on the battlefield with repentant Boko Haram terrorists. From where you stand and your observations about the federal government and the Borno State government's Operation Safe Corridor program, how much of a danger is it to the battle against insurgency, banditry, kidnapping, not just in the north now, but across the country?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me proceed by answering you on the issue when you said did not decide who will be the president. I can tell you that 110 times that we, the Northern Nigerian, most especially we, the Northern Nigerian youth, decide who will be the president of this country. The reason why I said so is, on election day, I give you this assignment, please make your research. On election day, you cannot see any Northerners on the football field playing football. We all have our PVC, and we all participate in the election. Go and make your research, even in the previous election. So we decide who will be the president of this country, and we have done that, and we will always do that. And again, when you said I mentioned issue of there is not any competent candidate in the South. That is true. That is what we see. Everybody can see different. That is politics. But what we see is only President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that is competent. Others are content creators. It's not all about putting camera, creating things, or doing one or two things before you become president. No. Apart from Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we see, with the Northern Nigerian youth, see other candidates as content creators. Because before you become president, you must surely have to put structure. And like I said earlier, if you see the structure of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, most especially what he has done in the north, you will be surprised of it. And we are proud of it. You look at what he is doing. Look at the security architecture of this country now. Look at the role of the chairman of Military Pension Board. Please make your research as a journalist to Military Pension Board. Go there now and see your research. Go there now and see what is happening. And again, look at what is happening with a rural electrification agency. You all know we don't have enough electricity supply in the north. But with the contribution of the rural electrification agency, we have been having some little development in the north. And again, look at the development of illegal mining that are trying to create insecurity in the north. Look at what the civil defense are doing. It's high time we should.
Just we're totally out of time. So I would take it that you're speaking as a politician. Absolutely, whether you agree with it or not, that is the truth, because you're taking a position on who is the preferred candidate. You've talked about the numbers, how it can sway. Yes, there's a very good likelihood, but only the North cannot decide who becomes president of Nigeria. But of course, it plays a key role because of the number of votes, the voting bloc it has. So that, to that extent. And then you talked about something else. So I'm told we don't have any time for questions. So is it not going to be comfortable if there is a Christian ticket? If any day happens, are you going to be comfortable with that as well?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Because we are one family in Northern Nigeria, both Christian and Muslim. Okay.
I just wanted to put that on record. In fact, all of us attempted to take you on in a lot of the questions, a lot of the things you raised, but our producers and our ear that we don't have time. But we're going to invite you back to discuss politics. But today we brought you to talk national security. But thank you so much, Mr. Abdul. Is the president of the Arewa Youth. What's the full name?
Thanks
Arewa Youth Council now. I want to be sure that I'm not making a mistake. Dambature Abdul, President Arewa Youth. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So we're going to invite you back, so we'll have a lot of time to talk extensively about politics. Thank you for coming on the program.
I will be waiting for that. Thank you.
Absolutely.